Ladies and gentlemen, good morning.
It is our honor to announce the arrival of Yang Berusaha Professor Insinyur Dr. Kardin Dimyati, Deputy Vice Chancellor, Research and Innovation, University Malaya. Yang Berusaha Professor Dr. Firdaus Hariri, Dean of the Faculty of Dentistry, University Malaya. Yang Berbahagia Professor Dato' Dr. Yang Farida Abdul Aziz, Dean of the Faculty of Medicine, University Malaya. Yang Berusaha Professor Dr. Hasniza Zaman Kuri, Dean of the Faculty of Pharmacy, University. Yang Berusaha Puan Chiu Yi Yen, Deputy Director of Professional Services, University Malaya Medical Centre, representing Yang Berusaha Professor Dr. Nazira Hasnan, Director of University Malaya Medical Centre. Yang Berusaha Professor Dr. Rahimah Abdul Kadir, Honorary Professor, Faculty of Dentistry, University Malaya and current Dean of Lincoln University.
Let us rise and give them a warm welcome. And now, to formally commence today's ceremony, we invite everyone to remain standing for the singing of our national anthem, Nagaraku, followed by our beloved university song, University Malaya. Thank you.
University Malaya, kebanggaan kita semua, bertambah para ilmuwan di berbagai lapangan. Kami bertekad di hati mencapai cita murni. Kecemerlangan menepati wawasan. Di sini kami sedia berbakti, terus berinovasi. Kami harapkan generasi muda, terus nusa dan bangsa. Varsity kesayanganku, sungguh banyak jasamu membentuk insan mulia, berilmu berbudaya. Di sini kami sedia berbakti, terus berinovasi. Kami harapkan generasi muda, teras nusa dan bangsa. Varsity kesayanganku, sungguh banyak jasamu membentuk insan mulia, berilmu berbudaya.
Please be seated. Deputy Vice Chancellors, Deans, Deputy Deans, Head of Departments, academic and supporting staff, sponsors, and fellow students. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Umhealth Academy Month in Research Carnival 2024.
This event is jointly organized by the Faculty of Dentistry, Faculty of Medicine, Faculty of Pharmacy, University Malaya Medical Center, and University Malaya Specialist Center. This year, it is a privilege for the Faculty of Dentistry to be the host for this event.
As we continue with the ceremony, we are honored to have Dr. Amirul Fahmi to lead us with the dua recitations. For our Muslim guests, we encourage you to join us in this moment of reflection. While for our non-Muslim guests, we kindly ask you to remain with us in a respectful moment of silence.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and very good morning. Al-Fatiha. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Hamdahi wa finna ma wika mazidah. Ya Rabbana lakal hamdu kama yanbaghi li jalali wajhik. Ya Allah, ya Tuhan kami, Tuhan yang Maha Penyayang dan Maha Bijaksana. Kami bersyukur kepadamu atas segala nikmat dan rahmat yang Engkau limpahkan kepada kami. Pada hari ini, kami berkumpul dalam program Umhealth Academia and Research Carnival 2024 untuk merayakan ilmu pengetahuan dan inovasi dalam bidang kesihatan. Ya Allah, kami mohon kepadamu agar program ini berjalan dengan lancar dan penuh keberkatan. Kurniakanlah kepada setiap peserta, penceramah dan penyelidik kecerdasan dan kefahaman yang mendalam. Jadikanlah perbincangan dan perkongsian ilmu pada hari ini sebagai jalan untuk meningkatkan kesihatan masyarakat dan membangunkan dunia penyelidikan yang lebih baik. Ya Allah, satukanlah hati-hati kami dalam semangat kerjasama dan saling menghormati. Berikanlah inspirasi kepada kami untuk terus berusaha dalam mencari kebenaran dan memperluas pengetahuan. Semoga setiap usaha yang dilakukan pada hari ini mendatangkan manfaat kepada semua, khususnya kepada mereka yang memerlukan. Kami memohon kepadamu agar setiap langkah kami dalam program ini sentiasa berada dalam lindungan dan keredaanmu. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanah wa fil akhirati hasanah wa qina azabannar. Wa sallallahu wasallam walhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Assalamualaikum.
Thank you, Dr. Amirul Fahmi, for the Doa recitation. With these moments of reflection and unity, we are now ready to continue with the rest of our program.
Now, I would like to invite Yambar Bahaswa, Professor Dr. Firdaus bin Hariri, Dean of the Dental Faculty, University Malaya, to deliver the opening remarks. Please give a warm welcome to Dr. Firdaus.
Thank you very much. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And a very good morning. Selamat pagi, salam sejahtera. I would like to please allow me to give my speech in both Malay and English. I think because we do have international visitors today. I think we have a guest from Serbia as well, who arrived yesterday. So thank you very much. My name is Firdaus Hariri. I'm the Dean of Faculty of Dentistry. Yang Berusaha Professor Dr. Insinyur Dr. Kaharudin. Thank you very much for your time here. Yang berbahagia Professor Datuk Dr. Yang Faridah, the Dean of Faculty of Medicine. Yang Berusaha Professor Dr. Hasniza, my kakak, the Dean of Faculty of Pharmacy. Yang Berusaha Puan Chiu Yi-Yin. Thank you very much. And cikgu saya, Professor Dr. Rahimah Abdul Kadir, ataupun mak saya, former Dean of Faculty of Dentistry, the very instrumental figure who brought me back to University Malaya back in 2006. So 18 years ago. Let me start with this mantra, impossible is nothing. Yeah, impossible is nothing. So when I was appointed as the Deputy Dean of Research back in 2016, there was an initiative by the top management of UM to merge 5 very difficult entities together. Faculty of Medicine, Faculty of Dentistry, Faculty of Pharmacy, University Malaya Medical Center, as well as University Malaya or UM Specialist Center, a private entity. It's impossible. More than 2,000 staff, definitely more than 3,000 students, undergraduates, postgraduates, not including patients. But look at where we are now, yeah, Prof. Yang, Prof. Haniza, Alhamdulillah, Prof. Kaha. We are here on the second edition of such Carnival. Yeah? And the fact that Prof. Kaha is here representing our Datuk Sri VC is a testament of unwavering support from the top management. So please, thank you so much, Prof. Kaha, for your time. Truly honored to have you here. I was informed that Prof. Kaha was in Faculty of Pharmacy yesterday, and then today you are here as well. So thank you so much for your time. We truly appreciate. And of course, to my big sisters, Prof. Yang, Prof. Aziza, Madam Chu, the fact that you are here, despite your busy schedule, on behalf of the faculty, truly appreciate. I told Prof. Hasniza that next year it will be your turn, and we will give full support. That includes our buses as well, and facilities if you need it. So I would like to take this opportunity to congratulate the organizing committee headed by Professor Dr. Adina, our Deputy Dean of Research, as well as the Deputy Chairperson, Associate Professor Dr. Azlida, and their respective team. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Not just from Faculty of Dentistry, but as well as Faculty of Medicine as well. And I think maybe some from Faculty of Pharmacy as well. We are so lucky to have quite interesting mix of audience because we have undergraduates, we have postgraduates. So it's a huge gap here when we talk about age. Yeah? But I know those in the middle are first-year dental students, right? So this is actually your second day, official second day in University of Malaya. So welcome to TJ Danaraj Hall. You must know about the history of TJ Danaraj. And I will ask you this question later. Because you must know about the history of UM so that you can have passions and appreciations and the gratefulness of being in UM. The oldest, the most premier, the best university in Malaysia. So you must know about all these names. TJ Danaraj, Ibrahim Yassin, Hashim Yaakob, etc., etc. So you must know about all this history. It's very important. And the fact that you are here today is actually a promising sign that we will make sure that you will not be a mediocre clinician. You must be a very outstanding clinician. And when you entered UM on your first day, you look at certain motto, right? We are all talking about globalizations as well as pushing boundaries. So at the very top management, within academicians, clinicians, researchers, we are doing just that. We are pushing boundaries out of dentistry, we are pushing boundaries out of medical, we are pushing boundaries out of pharmacy, and we have been collaborating for years. And this is what this carnival is all about. Spend time to walk around, to explore about research, because we want you to be that kind of clinicians, where you put patients as your utmost priority, but your decision-making process towards intervention should be evidence-based. So this is what the carnival is all about. We are clinicians, and for postgraduates, on behalf of the faculty, I truly appreciate that you make your time on Tuesday morning to be here. And we have a good mixture of scholars from the Ministry of Health, as well as those who are from other public universities or private universities. And as one of the research universities in Malaysia, we put high emphasis, we emphasize on high quality research. So I would encourage everybody to take this opportunity and avenue to link up with your peers, with your colleague, and don't just work in silo, not just within the Faculty of Dentistry, but build your networks outside Faculty of Dentistry, i.e. Medical, pharmacy, and the clinical aspect of Umhealth, UMMC, and UMSC. Because all these link-ups and networks are very, very important, especially when you are out there. So it's a very unique moment for me as well, personally, because the last I was here was probably during my student years, when I took my MBBS at the age of 32, Prof. Yang, 32 years old. So, yeah, thank you. And Prof. Yang was one of my inspirational teachers. So, nothing new. And the uniqueness of it is because I came from actually 4 out of 5 entities. I'm a product of Faculty of Dentistry, product of Faculty of Medicine, work also in UMMC and UMSC, and hopefully next year I can enroll in Faculty of Pharmacy to pursue my Bachelor of Pharmacy. And I will complete all the 5 entities. No, just kidding. But last few words, I would like to take this opportunity to thank all the organizing committee again. Thank you so much for the hard works. Thank you to the sponsors, Ring Solutions, and I will see you around and hope you will have a very good and fruitful Carnival. Alhamdulillah, we are here today. Kita diizinkan untuk berada di sini hari ini for the next 2.5 days. Jadi we will make sure that we will fully utilize the Carnival. Yeah. Thank you so much again. Thank you. Assalamualaikum.
Thank you, Professor Dr. Firdaus, for your valuable insights and setting the tone for what promises to be an exceptional event. Now, it is my honor to invite our esteemed Deputy Vice-Chancellor, Yang Berusaha Professor Insinyur Dr. Khairuddin Dimyati, who is representing the Vice-Chancellor, to deliver the officiating speech. Our Vice...
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much MCs yang berusaha Profesor Dr. Firdaus Hariri, Dekan Faculty Dentistry, merangkap, I guess at today you are the man, I guess, behind this event. I just remember hari itu masa interview Dekan, for Firdaus mentioned that ada 2 degree. I was really surprised. Somebody that having a BDS at the same time having a MBBS. I think it's really an achievement in this case, because it is rare. Bukan rare, kalau di engineering mungkin tak ada. I came from, by the way, I came from engineering. And just now I spoke to Datuk Yang. So dia kata ada beberapa actually yang have it. And it is kind of a mungkin requirement. Is it betul Datuk? On this, I think we have to give big congratulations to Prof. Firdaus dulu lah. So in this case. Okay, kemudian yang berbahagia Prof. Datuk Yang, Dekan Faculty of Medicine, kemudian Prof. Dr. Hasnizah, Dekan Pharmacy, Puan Chiu Yin, Deputy Director of Professional Services UMMC, Dr. Nur Azlida, Dr. Nur Azlida, I'm not so sure ada tak ada. Ada okey itu maaf tak perasan. Okey, co-chairperson of UM HRC dan juga yang berusaha Prof Rahimah, honorary professor Faculty of Dentistry. When I was yesterday invited to officiate this event, so I was wondering juga what is this event all about basically. So because something new to me. Yeah, new to me. This fraternity basically is quite new to me juga lah. Walaupun basically before this I was the Dean of Engineering, mingle around with the Deans of Medicine and also Pharmacy juga. So more or less tahu sikit-sikit lah. Okay, so but then about this event to me is totally apa ceritanya ni kan. So I thought okay, bagi tahu my secretary, I want to have a meeting with the team lah dulu, nak tahu what is the background of this. So I must congratulate knowing this. This is I believe it's the first event lah yang I attended related to Bulan Akademia. In Malaysia, to those from overseas, we have started or inaugurated Bulan Akademia in 2019. 2019. Since then, we have all the activities related to academics. Basically, Bulan Akademia is to appreciate us, academics. Academics. We have for teachers Hari Guru. For lecturers and also those within KPT punya fraternity, Polytechnic and also Polytechnic and one more College Pendidikan Tinggi, is it? So that's all under KPT. So we have this Bulan Akademia, and 5 October is Hari Akademia, which was launched baru-baru ni lah. In UPSI kalau tak silap. I think we must as an academic really appreciate this lah. Otherwise before this kita tumpang Hari Guru. So and now we have our very own Hari Akademia. And I was made to understand this is the second event. Okay, the first was last year, organized by Faculty of Medicine. Okay, and this year basically is the second of its kind. Umhealth Academia Month and Research Carnival 2024. So this event basically something that like Prof. Firdaus mentions that we should celebrate. Okay, and what more, at the same time we have Research Carnival. So as I was told last night, so we have a research booth in top floor, something like that, in top floor. So I think I must encourage everyone here. To go and see what is presented there. So definitely there are a lot of things that we can try to see, okay, try to understand, and then possibly try to collaborate. Okay, because research basically, if we do it in silo, it's very difficult to excel. Yeah. Only with collaborations, either collaboration with peers or multidisciplinary type of research. Yeah, so there are still collaborations needed there in order for us to have better outputs and also better outcomes. Yeah? So, and it is very, very important as well. Yeah, for first years, perhaps this is something that is new to you, but you will learn throughout definitely. Yeah? And definitely there are courses ataupun perhaps some community engagement, okay, that you will follow throughout your years here, okay, that will have something to do with research as well. Okay, so as we navigate through today's event, you will have a unique opportunity in this case, to engage with a variety of academic and research activities, including poster presentations. So there are poster presentations up there. Saya belum sempat nak tengok lagi. Hopefully, I will come back lah. After this, unfortunately, I cannot stay long. Yeah, I have to go back for another event, but perhaps you have 8, 9, and 10. I will try to make it for one of the times lah. I will contact Prof. Hariri in this case before I come. Okay, interactions or interactive demonstrations as well. This is something that is very good. Something that you I believe as students you love to see. Yeah, something that you can see in front of your eyes. Yeah? So otherwise, perhaps you can just imagine, which is something quite difficult for first years, for example, but something that you can see is easier for you to understand. And yeah, definitely there will be some insightful discussions as well throughout. Yeah? So use this opportunity. Yeah? So I think being a first week for first years, or even second years, or even postgraduates as well. So this is your first weeks. So use your first weeks here to the maximum, as far as activities within this research carnival or academia month is concerned. Something that I think very, very important. This year's theme was, is basically Brave New Frontiers of Research, Bright Futures of Education. This is very, very much in line with the new, or not to say new, since February we have started the new tagline, Home of the Bright, Land of the Brave. Okay, that was pronounced or was launched or was officiated basically during Amanat VC 2024 on the 19th February. Okay, so we must be brave lah, as far as not only academic, students as well must be brave. Explore new things. Venture into new things, like Prof. Firdaus mentions just now, something like, I can't remember exactly his word, something like going towards the not possible, something like that. So beyond the possibles, okay, something like that. So we have to venture into that. Otherwise, we will just work or business as usual. So which is, I think, if we just focus on business as usual, nothing much can be done. Okay, we have to really brave enough, okay, to venture into new things, no matter whether you are undergraduate students, postgraduate students, academics as well. Okay, so with that only, we can excel further. Yeah, if we are brave enough to take big risk, then perhaps the reward later is also big. Yeah? Okay, brave new frontiers of research, bright future of education. I like that. Who coined this theme? Oh, committee, oh, congratulations to the committee. Yeah. So at we are committed to exploring these new frontiers with courage and determinations. Knowing that the research we conduct today will pave the way for brighter, like I said earlier, brighter and more promising futures in education and beyond. The goal of this conference is to not only highlight the groundbreaking research taking place within our institutions, but also to inspire a collective visions for future educations. By embracing new methodologies, fostering interdisciplinary collaborations, and pushing the boundaries of what is possible. Oh, that is the word, what is possible, kan? Okay, we can ensure that the educations we provide remains at the cutting edge, preparing our students to be the leaders and innovators of tomorrow. Let us use this opportunity to share ideas. In conference like this is more important, sharing ideas, sharing good practices, for example. So yesterday when I went to pharmacy, they mentioned about good manufacturing practices, something new to me juga. Okay, so that I believe is good practices. Okay, so let us use this opportunity to share again ideas, challenges the status quo. So like I said just now, business as usual is status quo. So status quo, well, okay to go, but then it is not good enough. If we want to move forward, or if we want to really move to a higher positions and so on. Okay, and together build the foundations for a brighter and more innovative future. So in this case, I believe everyone here are all very enthusiastic. Very enthusiastic. I saw smiles all the way, banyak. Tak ada yang masam-masam in this case. So that means you are really coming here with full heart, dengan hati yang suci. Tak ada dipaksa-paksa. Which is I think that is indeed a good sign. So kalau tak, I will see muka-muka masam and so on. Okay, all right. I think in this case, let us remain steadfast in our pursuit of knowledge and our commitment to advancing research that not only contribute to academic discourse, but also has tangible impacts on the world around us. The research we conduct at has the potential to change life, influence policy, very important, and drive the future of healthcare. It is our responsibility to take it seriously, and it is a journey we undertake together with passion and purpose. So finally, thank you all for being here today, for your dedications to excellence in research and education, and for your unwavering support to UM's mission. UM's mission to be at the forefront of academics and healthcare innovations. Let the Health Academia Month and Research Carnival 2024 inspire and energize us all as we forge ahead with renewed vigor and determination. With that, it is my great honor and privilege to officiate the Health Academia Month and Research Carnival 2024. Enjoy the carnival, immerse yourself in the wealth of knowledge being shared, and let this event be a stepping stone towards even a greater achievement in the future. Thank you very much, and Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you, Professor and Senior Dr. Kaharuddin Dimyati. Dear Professor, please remain at the center of the stage for the officiating ceremony. We would also like to invite all the deans and Associate Professor Dr. Noor Azlida on stage. Like to invite Professor and Senior Dr. Kaharuddin to sign and thus officiate the program. Now, the UMHAMRC 2024 has officially begun.
The Dean of the Faculty of Dentistry, Professor Dr. Firdaus, to give a token of appreciation to Professor and Senior Dr. Kaharuddin Dimyati. Professor in Senior Dr. Kaharuddin Dimyati and Professor Dr. Firdaus, including all the deans.
We will now have a photography session with our distinguished speakers and guests. Please gather for this memorable moment. Please.
Thank you once again to Professor in Senior Dr. Kaharuddin Dimyati, Professor Dr. Firdaus, and all the deans. We will now have a photography session with our distinguished speakers and guests. Please gather for this memorable moment. Dear distinguished guests, please stand up and gather at the center of the hall for the photography session.
Please gather at the center, everybody.
Okay, everyone, you can gather at the center of the hall. Fill in all the empty spaces. Okay, please stand up, okay? Please stand up. Thank you, everyone. Please be seated. Due to other commitments, our Deputy Vice-Chancellor, Professor Insinyur Dr. Khairuddin, had to leave earlier. Thank you once again, Professor, for gracing us with your lovely presence on this lovely morning. Thank you for your patience, everyone. You may be seated.
It is now time for an enlightening lecture titled Enhanced Dental Education, Insights on Juggling Practice, Teaching and Research.
Let me introduce our keynote speaker today, Professor Dr. Rosna Zain. Professor Dr. Rosna Zain graduated with a Bachelor of Dental Science from Queensland University in Australia in 1977. She then obtained her Master in Science in Oral Pathology and Diagnosis from University of Michigan, Ann Arbor, USA in 1982. Professor Rosna has served as an academician for University Malaya for more than 30 years. Apart from being an academic, she is also an accomplished administrator and has been involved in managing the dental faculty at the University Malaya in the capacity as head of department, deputy dean, undergraduate, postgraduate, research, and finally as a dean. Her role in these positions involve managing and development of curriculum and dental services center, including human resource infrastructure and patients' general issues. From University Malaya, she moved to Masa University in 2016 as the Dean of the Faculty of Dentistry. She is then appointed as the Deputy Vice Chancellor of Research, Innovation, Enterprise in 2023, and currently she also serves as the Chief Executive Officer for Masa Research and Innovation. Professor Rosna is a strong advocate for research. Since her early years, she has embarked on numerous projects with numerous co-researchers within the country and also in the region. One of her major early research endeavors is a collaborative research project with colleagues from the Oral Health Division, Ministry of Health Malaysia, and Aichi Gakuin University, Nagoya, Japan in 1993-1994. Professor Rosna was appointed as a Fellow of the Academy of Science Malaysia in 2010. Her research expertise led her to receive the Top Research Scientist Award in 2014, and in 2016, she was inducted as a Distinguished Fellow for Asia, International College of Dentists.
We are honored to have Yang Barossa, Professor Dr. Rosna Zain, to share her insights with us today. Please join me in welcoming her to the stage.
Assalamualaikum and a very good morning to all esteemed guests. Many people that I know is here. Happy to see you all. And in a way, Dr. Noadina twisted my arm to do this. And I hope that whatever is given here is, it's something. I think that what I'm going to show is something that you already know. It's not going to be something about myself, but about the dental education. However, while doing it, I'll throw myself in a little. Okay. So I've been given this topic, Enhancing Dental Education, Insights on Juggling Practice, Teaching, and Research. Okay. Okay, so what I'm going to do today is quite simple. I just want to introduce what is about enhancing dental education and what's the landscape of dental education. I'm just going to talk a little bit about the history. And I think I see Prof. Rahima here. She's also has had long time as dean and things like that. So I'm sure she knows all these things that I'm going to talk about. And then the difficult part is to really talk about how to juggle practice, teaching, and research. I mean, when I started, I did that. But to describe to you, I'll do my best. Okay? So let me introduce first Okay. What do we mean by enhancing dental education? So, enhancing dental education actually involves improving the training and skills of dental professionals to ensure high quality patient care. And it also aims to produce skilled, competent, and adaptable professionals capable of meeting the challenges of modern healthcare. So this is where we are. And I wanted to show you historically, just to show how things move, okay, the shift into this. So as a historical perspective, I found this article. There may be other articles, but I found this article, G's report in 1926, which actually says that dental education has been approached from a traditional perspective then, and based on content expert imparting knowledge. So in those days, it's more about, if you're the content expert, you know all. So you're going to tell everyone, you study this, because I know all right? But things change. So the later years, in 1934, Survey of Dental Education advocate for a dental education program. Did I miss one? Okay, historical, okay. Which actually says that would make it possible for the graduate to be competent. So now we start coming in a competent graduate in the maintenance of oral health and in the treatment of oral diseases, disorders, and deficiencies with understanding, I think this is what we are doing now, and appreciation of relationships between oral and systematic conditions in health disease. So this actually, the thoughts have started since 1934. The importance of knowledge integration and relevance for dental education was desired. And so in 1947, the Journal of Dental Education, an article talked about the need for re-evaluation of the dental curriculum, where they worked towards changes in the content and organization of curriculum towards a future which was defined in terms of public dental needs, the resources of dentistry, and the aims of dental education. And topics such as research, scientific advances, greater appreciation for general and dental health, expansion of public health work, accreditation, and war times impacted how dental education was defined and how it was taught. So at least when I did my dental school in the University of Queensland, we are already at this stage, okay? And throughout the 20th century, there seemed to be, curriculum models seemed to remain static. There were not that many reports. However, there are changing themes, and these were highlighted with the need for reorganization of the curriculum, where in the modern educational setting, introduction of digitizing teaching materials, interactive sessions, and many more. And these include oral health, general health, association concepts, the value of scientific inquiry and integration of content, interprofessional training of healthcare workers, a concern about costs, you also have to include that, and financing of dental education, the professional workforce, and the general direction of the profession. By mid-2000, in the USA, there are 2 national projects which reviewed national data and trends to advance both educational and economic modeling for the future of dental education. And they had a publication in 2008, which gives consideration on the cost of education, including student indebtedness, the overcrowded and irrelevant curriculum. We may still have some irrelevant curriculum now, but they have already considered at that time. The pace of technological and scientific advances, and need for sustained leadership for change accompanied forces advancing the need for new models of dental education. Over the last 4 decades, many innovations in dental education sees changes. We see discipline-based clinical instruction had prevailed in many schools until the 1990s, but we see that curriculum reviews are moving towards integration. However, I think in Malaysia, I think we did not really go into total integration because I think we still see some value of discipline-based. Then after, the realization that clinical instruction should closely align with how care is provided in the practice of dentistry, and isolation of technical procedures through departmental silos, through working by yourself, is viewed as a barrier to integration of comprehensive care in patients' best interests. And I think while in the past this is happening, it's less now, but I think it is still there. Okay, so how you're going to approach that to move into real integration? But as I said, I think we all believe that integration plus discipline-based. I think a lot of schools are doing discipline-based in pre-clinical with some integration, and try to do more integration in the clinical with some discipline-based. Okay, and so it is also the inclusion of new instructional models and approaches, and more of small group learning. It can either be problem-based learning or hybrid variation. So I think there's most schools now have embarked into small group learning. And the innovation in small group learning is really enormous. I'm sure many schools have done different types of small group learning, and they are all innovations. And integration of basic science education between medicine and dentistry. And this model was patterned after the innovative work at McMaster University. So again, back to Malaysia, our integration of basic science education, some schools are totally integrated, and some schools are still composite but integrated at assessment level. All right? And they may introduce PBL and case-based discussion, which are integrated. So there's some degree of integration, but this integration will increase. Then there's inclusion of experiential learning and student engagement, unknown components in the development of deep learning, knowledge retention, and growth in critical thinking skills. Have you all ever thought about knowledge retention? How do we actually evaluate knowledge retention? I'm not sure, but I have to say that when I was here, I developed a module or a training program called Oral Detect. The program is about early detection of oral cancer, and that program, even though the Ministry of Health doesn't, when it started, I have not copyrighted it as Oral Detect. So Ministry of Health has that program, and it is still going on, although I think they're now going into modification of that program. But Ministry of Health always say in their book, they have got a book that they have published. It says that you need this training every 5 years. Why? Okay. How do you know 5 years is the correct time? You need to evaluate on retention. Okay. So for my module, it's quite easy because it's a one-day workshop, and I think UM, MASA, UKM all does this in the final year or maybe late 4th year. And we are at a stage where we are trying to look into retention of knowledge because we still have their scores, and there's a few, 3 or 4 cohorts. And then we hope we can work with the ministry. We started talking to them to actually give them questionnaire as well as a test. And so the test was difficult. We're not sure whether they will do it. So we even thinking maybe the test should be, they do it by themselves online, but an interactive online. But this is what we mean, that I think when you do these things, you must always think about retention of knowledge. Maybe you have evaluated, but you have not singled it out that you have evaluated. I think about time you think about, have you evaluated? And if you have, what are they? Okay? And okay, under the new instructional models and approaches, there's also emphasis on use of student-directed and active learning strategies. So I think this is a type of group learning, and I think when we talk about CBL, it's actually student-directed. And I think for those in the if you're still doing it, the case-based reasoning, which is an assessment method, where they are being given a viva or concurrently. In MASA, we've moved one step. We have done student-directed case-based reasoning. So it is a type of group learning, but what we did is we got students in groups, and we make them, first they actually must go through the case-based reasoning exercise where they are doing the viva. After that, we get them to create a scenario, because case-based reasoning is about creating a scenario, a multidisciplinary scenario. We get them to create the question, we get them to create the answer, and we get them to practice or to implement on another group of people, I mean just 1 or 2, with the whole class or some groups listening to it. and we give them marks. So at the end of the day, maybe they're not happy when we ask them to do it. But at the end of the day, when we finish it all, they felt that it really helps because it makes them think about the case-based reasoning throughout their clinical. But because it is very taxing on the staff, I think, I'm not sure whether this will last, but I think something like that could be modified to be less taxing to the staff. Okay? So highlighting strategies for dental education that engage learners to work with construct, promote understanding versus factual memorizing. So we're trying to reduce factual memorizing by doing all this. So promoting the continual development of problem solving and critical thinking abilities. So now we move to this part. So I hope that you got the picture of the enhancing curriculum and the juggling practice, teaching and research to enhance dental education is something that I hope I can bring to you at the best that I can. So let's start off with, we know about the challenges of the shift of the dental curriculum. As educators, we need strategies in order to be able to balance our clinical practice, our teaching, and research. But to my mind, differing strategies is dependent on whether the educator is in the early, mid, or advanced career stage. So this is where I'm starting to think back when I was in my early stage, when I was in the mid, and when I was in the advanced career stage. So let's see what we can do with this. Okay, so the approaches to juggling practice, teaching, and research would be, now, A is balancing clinical practice and teaching, and we need to talk about time management strategies, integrating clinical cases into teaching, incorporating research into dental education, and research opportunities for staff and students, and funding and support for faculty. Let's look at time management. For the early career academics, I think I would put myself, or I did put myself, put teaching under control while using rest of the time to gain experience in clinical practice. And at that time, I didn't think about PhD, but by now, PhD is the goal. So young, early career academics should also be working towards a PhD, at least planning towards it. How about the mid-career academics? This is time that you learn to mentor your junior lecturers and students. So you need time to mentor, and you need time to foster collaboration, but you need create a supportive academic environment. So during that time, in those days, we have to think about this. How do we do it ourselves? But I think there's a lot of support now. You know, I mean, you have things like supervising of research, junior and senior, supervising postgraduate, junior and senior. So that's the supportive academic environment. But I think Prof. Rahimah can agree with us. Those times we just grab or whatever we can do. We think it's this way. We think it's that way. Funnily enough, after we think it, if we decide, hey, this is good enough to write something on paper, then we look back. Actually, there's some pedagogy in it. It's like reverse engineering, you know. You think we are doing it, then you must try and write paper, because otherwise you don't know that you're doing it right. Okay? So this is what happened to me. I move towards, if I think of something that I create, I write a paper. For example, the oral detect, I have 2 papers. Okay? And it's all about education. And interestingly, you cannot be by yourself. This is at a stage. I mean, the junior one, the early career, you have to pull them. The mid-career, you can pull the junior or go to the senior and group together. So what did I do? My first paper on oral detect, which is effectiveness of oral detect. I had then moved on to do it in Indonesia, in Nepal, in Cambodia. It doesn't mean they take the exact, but I gave them the concept. Okay, and so after I've given concept, I mean, people like Calum, who was then the dean for the University Putih Sastra, start saying, hey, why don't you write a paper? Then we start thinking about writing a paper. Then I came back, I got all my lecturers who I think is interested, and they start giving a suggestion. I think what you did was repetitive learning. I think what you did was space learning. And what you did was corrective feedback. You do it all the time, corrective feedback. But when you have to evaluate, then you can show, right? And the paper then took many years to get the paper out because we have to think of this ourselves. And by that time, it became Cambodia, University Malaya, Masa, IMU, because two of my staff have shifted to IMU. So they're still doing it, but they have contributed. To. And then our second paper, because of the COVID-19, we had to do an interactive online. So we want to see, is it as effective on interactive online? And nice to say that as long as you do it interactive online, it's almost similar except that the face-to-face is better. And so this is my next step, retention. Do you think that the alumni, the dentist in the practice wants to come and listen to me and say, take this test? Do you think that online you will say, can you do spot diagnosis? No, they don't want that. So now I'm thinking about how to create something that makes them interested and do that. So to me, when you are the mid-career, you start meeting people, grouping people, and start looking at things, okay? And advanced career academics, that's people like me and Prof. Rahima now. We are, I can say, advanced career academics, and many of you too. We spend more time on leadership roles. So we become deans. And we start mentoring the junior faculty and students. So I think many of you, I don't want to say that, I mean, you are young, but you're reaching advanced career. So this is what you're doing. As dean, you're doing leadership roles, you have to mentor the junior, and you have to enhance collaboration, leverage on established networks to foster interdisciplinary collaboration. So this is what I'm sure every faculty is doing. You are going more and more into interdisciplinary collaborations. Well, that's what you don't expect the early career to do, but the mid-career will be doing some bits of that. And all this together is actually a balancing act, because you still have to teach, you still have to innovate your teaching, and then you still have to think about research. What's the simplest thing that you can do with research if you are in mid-career? If you are in advanced career, maybe you don't do the research yourself, but you're bubbling with ideas. It's just that you have to catch people. I mean, that's what I'm doing now. I have ideas and I say, okay, let's do this, let's do that, things like that. So that is the advanced career academic, because I cannot do it myself. So I develop teams. So I have multiple teams. And then while doing that, I still can go ahead and do my administration. And I still work, maybe I don't write the paper myself, but it's my design. And I will evaluate all the time, and I will review it. Okay? So in the end, we need this to foster interdisciplinary collaboration. So it goes back to enhancing dental education, because all in all, we want to get there to have collaborations. So integrating clinical cases into teaching, I think you all know better than me, but as an earlier career, use insights from clinical practice to inform teaching, initiate research using clinical materials. I think I don't have to talk too much about that. And whilst at mid-career academic, you start integrating the clinical experience into teaching, such as you tend to use real case scenarios. The early career staff will also do that, but I think the mid-career academic will have more input into that, or incorporating research findings into practice. And advanced career reflecting on clinical practice experiences, and that's where you start designing courses that reflect clinical changes and problem-solving cases. For example, case-based scenario for problem-solving and critical thinking. And I know you do it together, the mid-career, the early career, especially when you design case-based learning. Okay, but I think the advanced career academics are the one who's supposed to reflect on what they have done and be the mover for that. So I think I'm almost at the end. So what about research, incorporating research into dental education? So research opportunities for students. Recognize the fact that the university environment was based not on teaching success, so much as peer recognition for contributions to new knowledge with a chosen research. So this is where we are now. You have KPIs, which is a lot more about research. Okay, and for early academics, how do we incorporate research? I think I said earlier, pairing up, learning from mentors, picking up skills in guiding undergraduate student research. And mid-career academics, start identifying your niche areas of research that align with your clinical practice and teaching. So you're actually juggling your clinical practice, teaching, and research, because now you're moving research together with your clinical practice. And for advanced academic, you move into impactful research, having research teams. I have one experience here. When I was the deputy dean in 2010, that was the time when the then VC, Tan Sri Gauss Jasmine, wanted the high impact research and actually pursued the Ministry of Finance. And all deans had to come up with projects. And being the deputy dean of postgraduate, I worked with the dean, and we came up with, like, for dentistry, 10 projects, 10 million. And a lot of work. Because we have to do impactful research, a lot of persuading, young lecturers are scared. And yet, at that time, I don't have many that I can put as PIC. So we managed. Then Prof. Isha left, and I had to go to the meeting. And what did the VC say? Prof. Rosna, I want you to bring up the 20 projects, 20 million. And I had to do it over almost a weekend. And Prof. Nohayati and me, she was then my deputy dean of research. We worked on everyone. We practically sometimes come up with the idea, write a little bit. You think you can do this? No, you can do. You can be the PIC. We worked on everyone. But I'm happy to say that you have reached this stage that nobody really need to go and pursue you, like when I did in 2010. Okay? So, but as advanced career academic, there may still be areas where there may still be staff who needs you, that you need to go out and talk to them and bring them into your impactful research. And so let's talk about funding and support for faculty and students. So for early academics, you tend to embark on non-funded type of research. Okay, so non-funded type. You're evaluating your teaching methods. That can be non-funded type. Or universities give seed grant for projects, for research, for you to do for the student projects. And for the mid-career, you start embarking on external grant. You, of course, can still get the seed grant. And working as a team. So now, you start pulling the junior. External grants for research support student research, incorporates administrative skills in managing research projects. So your administrative skill, not just as dean, deputy dean, but as project manager, have to start to come in. Okay, and early career academics, advanced, moving into high impact research. So I talked to you about that just now, that align their expertise, often seeking for larger scale studies or initiatives that address significant clinical or educational challenges. I have is the time? Yeah. I have just a little story here. I consider myself at that time, 1990s, as early to mid-career academics. But I've made friends internationally. So I've got friends who said, we can help you. And that was when I had a grand plan, nationwide survey of oral mucosal lesion. And that grand plan, the money I have was just from a Japanese colleague, 5,000 ringgit. Okay? But I thought I have to push on this, went to Ministry of Health, meet the dental director, and start talking about, with this 5,000 ringgit, but if you join us, we can have this grant. Because I wanted to know what's the prevalence of oral mucosal lesion. Prior to that, I tried to ask the person in Ministry of Health doing on caries and periodontal disease. The answer that came back, do your own. Okay, so I took the challenge, do my own. So with all the, and I have another mentor from Sweden, so most of the techniques, all that. Because look, I still haven't got my own things, but the mentor was there. So it is an international project. Statistics, I met them, and they came in at very little money to do the stats for me, to go and meet the stats office. And I have an empty house. I said, could you just stay in my house? Because I have no money. And he came with his money and stayed. So, I think you have to talk, you have to do. So in the end, we had this project where I trained 16 dental public health officers to go house to house to examine, and they examined 11,707 people. So that was my landmark paper, the National Epidemiological Study. That was published in 1997, but I did it in 1993-94. So look, you can do it. Just think out of the box, think how you can get people. Please don't keep yourself in silo. In Masa now, I'm facing that. I still see researchers in silo. And I have to create this, I have to create that. Say, come, let's do this, come. I have to initiate things. So if you have to, please do. Because you belong to this and you can do it. Okay? And you can juggle your research, your teaching, and your clinical. Okay? Okay, so summarizing, making considerations on the strategies in enhancing dental education, early career academics can effectively balance their diverse responsibilities, ultimately enhancing their contributions to clinical practice, education, and research. Implementing these strategies, mid-career academics can successfully balance their multifaceted roles, contributing to their fields through enhanced clinical practice, impactful teaching, and meaningful research. And adopting these evolved strategies, experienced academics can continue to make significant contributions to clinical practice, education, research, while fostering the next generation of dental professionals. So with that, thank you.
Thank you, Professor Dr. Rosna Zain, for that inspiring lecture. Now, we will open for a question and answer session to the floor. We have 2 microphones on the left and right side of the auditorium. Do we have anyone? Okay, thank you so much, Professor Dr. Rosna Zain, for that inspiring lecture.
Yes, sir. Are you going to ask a question?
So, please introduce yourself.
Good morning, Professor.
Morning.
Thank you very much for your talk. I'm Jazli, one of the lecturers from the Oral and Craniofacial Sciences Department, Faculty of Dentistry. And not really asking a question on my behalf. I would just like to ask a question on behalf of our new first-year students. Because they have literally just joined. Today is only their second day. And in my short experience teaching the first-year students, One thing I noticed that they tend to struggle with, even at the beginning of their degree studies, is how to juggle all the information and all the subjects that they have to learn. So, in your experience as Deputy Dean, and of course an educator, I was wondering if you could share some advice on how they can better prepare for the next 5 years of their studies.
Yeah, I guess I didn't touch that much on the students, but we actually get my experience before is that, like you say, students come in, they're fresh from school, and the teaching in school is totally different. I presume that a lot of using when they take exams, they actually use questions, past questions and all that. Whereas, interestingly, when they come here, the question is, they ask the lecturer, do you have a past questions? Okay, so to you, now is not the time for past questions. You have to grow out of that, okay? And yes, there may be an information overload, but you must concentrate on what is being taught to you. You must concentrate on even learning about how to look into learning outcomes. Okay, maybe your lecturers may not have told you that for this lecture, this is the learning outcome, but if they have, you start evaluating that are the learning outcomes satisfied. If it is not, you have to start being actively communicating with your lecturer, okay? To say that, yes, I feel that I have not reached this learning outcome, because when it comes to assessment, when it comes to understanding, we want you to understand through this creation of learning outcomes, and you're taught so that the learning outcome is achieved, and you'll be assessed so that that you have satisfied the learning outcome. So that is the one. However, yes, I'm not saying don't look at the other things, but when you look in the social media, be careful. You can't take everything as yes. In fact, I have students who come and tell me, more senior students, and said, I think that lecture is doing wrong because I read, and it's not like that. I said, no, you must, when you think it's good that you're thinking, you think that it is wrong, but you must go and discuss with the lecturer and get the lecturer to put it right. So we do encourage you to go to social media, but don't take it and insist the social media is correct, because we do not know which one is correct. Get back for a good discussion with your colleagues and the lecturer. And in that way, we are now trying to develop you to be thinkers, to be reasoning, to justify whatever you do. Anything else? Is that okay? Students, you have anything else to put in? Okay, thank you.
Thank you for the question, and thank you once again, Professor Dr. Rosna, for the answer. So, dear Professor, please head to the center of the stage for our next agenda.
We would like to invite Professor Dr. Firdaus Hariri to give a token of appreciation to Professor Dr. Rosna Zain. Thank you, Professor Dr. Rosna Zain and Professor Dr. Firdaus. Thank you, Professor Dr. Rosna Zain and Professor Dr. Firdaus Hariri. we would like to invite all the VVIPs to visit our exhibition booths on level 4, followed by a tea break.
Looks like we're having a short photography session.